Yo. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
What is going on, Headliner Nation? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there today, where we're continuing our Week 1 coverage, which has been an absolute banger. This week, people are absolutely loving it, and thank you so much for the support. But we've mentioned in our start-sit videos that there's going to be times where you have multiple guys both listed as a start. Which one do you choose? That's what these rankings are for. So in this video, we got a good one for you here today. We're talking about our top 20 quarterbacks for Week 1. We have our top 30 running backs for Week 1 plus. We also have our very first installment here, in-season content from the man, the myth, the legend himself. Tater Miles will be on the phone today giving some Week 1 advice, and trust me, you don't want to miss a second of Tater Miles. This guy is like an internet sensation at this point. So we're not going to waste a whole lot of time, though. We're going to get right into the content, and the first thing we're talking about here is going to be our top 20 quarterbacks for Week 1 fantasy football. All right, here we go. Remember, this is a quick hitting list. If you want the detailed information for these guys, that's over in the start sit video. But here we go, the quick rundown of our top 20 quarterbacks. Number 1 for me this week is going to be Lamar Jackson. I really think he's going to be relied upon a lot. We know that running game is banged up, right? Justice Hill, he is now out. They've brought in Le'Veon Bell. Do not worry about Le'Veon Bell here in Week 1. However, Lamar is going to take more on his shoulders because he's got a lot of injuries in that offense. Love the rushing upside. Love the matchup against Las Vegas. He's my number 1 guy here this week. Number 2, Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals. Great matchup going up against Tennessee, in which I can see a lot of offense in this game. It would not surprise me if Tennessee gets out to an early lead due to that weak Arizona secondary, and then Kyler's got to throw it all 4 quarters. Plus, we know about the rushing upside. Got him at number 2. Number 3 is Patty Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs, going up against the Cleveland Browns. Not an easy matchup whatsoever, and that's really the only reason why I dropped him down a few spots. That, and I do expect the Browns to try to control the time of possession on the ground, maybe limiting some of those offensive opportunities that we've seen the Chiefs capitalize on in the past. Got him dropped down just a couple spots, though. Still love me some Patty. Got him at number 3. Number 4, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills, going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Does TJ Watt play? Does he not play? It's still kind of up in the air. Something we're paying close attention to, but it doesn't really matter. Josh Allen is an elite level quarterback that can put up points in bunches and also has that rushing upside. Got him at number 4. Number 5, Tom Brady kicking off the NFL season, Thursday Night Football against the Dallas Cowboys after receiving his Super Bowl ring. Tom going to be in old form here this week. Couldn't put up some big numbers. Got him number 5. Number 6, Ryan Tannehill. Already mentioned this matchup with Kyler Murray. A weak Arizona secondary is something he should be able to take advantage of with Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. Got Tanny all the way up at number 6. Number 7 is Aaron Rodgers. Discount double suck-it tour starts here this week for the Green Bay Packers as they head to New Orleans to take on the new-look New Orleans Saints, who now no longer even have Latavius Murray in the backfield. Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys that doesn't need to throw the ball 50 times a week to put up huge fantasy numbers. If he approaches 30, more than likely he's walking away with 2 or 3 touchdowns and 250-plus yards. Got him right here, number 7. Number 8, Matthew Stafford, Los Angeles Rams. Still kind of weird to say that, but a matchup this week at home going up against the Chicago Bears in an offense in which he can just really be unlocked, right? Robert Woods, Bobby Trees. We love us some Bobby Trees, some Tyler Higbee, some Cooper Kupp, even some Van Jefferson. Does Deshaun Jackson make an appearance in Week 1? And that running game with Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel. Love Matthew Stafford. I got him a lot higher than most do, all the way up here. Number 8. Number 9 is Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Not a bad matchup, but what does this offense look like? Do they rely on him to move the ball on the ground with his own legs? Do they rely on the running game and Miles Sanders? Can they get the ball down the field consistently to Devontae Smith? Still some question marks, but the ceiling is there. Got him at number 9. Number 10 is Russell Wilson, Seattle Seahawks. A difficult matchup for him going up against the Indianapolis Colts there in Week 1. A tough pass rush, right? They want to try to establish the run in Seattle, but can they do it against Indianapolis? It's going to take some big plays down the field, hopefully to DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett. Still putting Wilson inside the top 10 at number 10. Number 11, Dak Prescott. You know we love Dak Prescott. We've loved him for years, but his first game back after that gruesome injury is a difficult one. Thursday night against Tampa Bay, arguably the best defense in football, and they're going to be pumped up at home after receiving their Super Bowl rings. I had to knock Dak down a few spots to number 11. Number 12 is Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers. Maybe it's Herbert if you're feeling fancy. He's got a matchup here this week going up against the Washington football team, arguably the best defensive front in all of football. Can they keep Herbert upright in the pocket long enough to let deep routes down the field develop? That's going to be the biggest question mark. I still think they're able to move the ball with short to intermediate passes, and they rely on Austin Eckler out of the backfield. Dropped Herbert down a couple spots, though, to number 12. Number 13, Kirk Cousins, Minnesota Vikings. He's got a matchup going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. A great matchup for Kirk Cousins, and a lot of people still don't like Kirk Cousins. The issue with him, he scores the majority of his points in the second half of ball games. If you go out there in the first quarter and dude walks away with 60 yards and no touchdowns, you are panicking, but it's okay. With the likes of Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, points can come in bunches, especially in the second half. Number 14, Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons, going up against those Philadelphia Eagles. How does this offense look post Julio Jones? Well, they've added Kyle Pitts, which gives him that red zone option. We already know Calvin Ridley can dominate on the outside. How do they utilize Mike Williams out of the backfield? Is he somebody who's heavily involved in the passing game? I think Matt Ryan's going to be one of those guys who's a safe floor weekly. He could kind of fall into that Kirk Cousins range where it's not sexy every single week, but the guy has a safe floor with a potential ceiling. Got him at 14. Number 15, Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals, going up against those Minnesota Vikings who do have a pretty stout defense. We know Joe Burrow wants to throw the ball, and he's got options everywhere with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon in the backfield. But can they keep him upright long enough to get the ball down the field? It would not surprise me if this is a lower scoring game first half, and then we see some bigger plays second half. I'm not off the Burrow bandwagon whatsoever. I just want to see this offense get in sync a little bit more before I move him higher. Got him at 15. 16 is Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars, going up against the Houston Texans, which is a juicy matchup for your first ever NFL start because Houston's just giving players away at this point, trying to get out from bad contracts, but this team is not going to be good. Great opportunity for Trevor Lawrence to go out there and move the offense. They did not draft him to turn around and hand the ball off 30 times a game. He's throwing the ball down the field early and often in an Urban Meyer offense. I actually like Trevor Lawrence. Got him at 16. 17, Bake Show, Baker Mayfield, Cleveland Browns, going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. I bumped Baker up inside the top 20 this week because I do believe they're going to have to throw at some point to keep pace with the Kansas City Chiefs. I mentioned earlier they're going to want to establish the run and control the clock. Of course, that's what everybody wants to do against Kansas City, but it doesn't always work because Kansas City has that ability to make that big play happen with Tyreek Hill over the top at any given moment. Baker is going to have to throw at some point. Got him at 17. 18, Big Ben Roethlisberger, Pittsburgh Steelers got a matchup here this week going up against the Buffalo Bills, which is not ideal for them in the first week. They struggled at times against them last year as well. And Pittsburgh is just one of those offenses that we think we know, right? We know about Juju, we know about Deontay and Chase Claypool, but what we don't know is the usage of Najee Harris in this offense. I do believe they want to rely a little bit heavier on Najee to try to keep Big Ben fresh longer into the season. You could see it last year where he started to wear down because they were so reliant on him last year. If Najee goes out and finds some early success, I think that really limits the upside of Big Ben because he's not going to be asked to throw as much. This week, got him at number 18 in a difficult matchup. Number 19, Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins going up against the New England Patriots in New England, but this is a different Tua, right? This is not the same guy that we saw last year. Don't forget, last year, his first game time since that gruesome hip injury at Alabama, didn't have much of an offseason in a COVID year, has now really taken the time to develop in this system throughout the offseason, and he's got more weapons now than he did before. Love the addition of Jalen Waddle. No Will Fuller this week, but he still has Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki. If you were ever going to start Mike Gesicki, this may be a week where he sees a little bit more target volume before Will Fuller comes back. I like Tua, got him at number 19. Number 20, Sam Darnold. Sounds crazy to a lot of people, but in a revenge matchup against his old team, the New York Jets, he's got Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, Terrace Marshall Jr. really came on strong in the preseason, and we know Christian McCaffrey's in the backfield. Do not be surprised if Sam Darnold starts off hot this year. Got him at number 20 to start this season. So those are our top 20 quarterbacks here for week 1 fantasy football, and still a lot of unknowns out there, right? We really need to pay attention to the games closely this week to kind of figure out how some of these offenses are going to look. What are their identities for the year? So we're going to be paying close attention to that. But now it's time for a new segment. We're going to call it Fourth Beer Down because we're talking to Tater Miles. Now, if you haven't heard of or seen Tater Miles yet, you are in for a treat. This guy's a little unorthodox, I guess you could call it, but he's entertaining. So we're not going to waste any more time. Let's get him on the phone. Let's see what he's thinking here for week 1 fantasy football. Tater. What's going on, Tater? Are you ready? Or did I catch you at a bad time? I think we're supposed to be doing some week one question and answers here.
Oh, hell, is it week one already?
Yeah, it's here.
Well, all right then. Well, I got plenty of advice for you out there, Headliner Nation. So, what do you want to know?
I mean, I got some questions I was going to ask you. The first thing I wanted to start off with, though, is I'm a little impressed. I wasn't expecting a whole lot, to be completely honest. Oh, yeah, getting in and out. I wasn't expecting a whole lot, though. But you put something on Twitter a couple weeks ago about Cam spelt backwards is Mac, who's going to be the starting quarterback of the Patriots. And it's come true. So you actually hit that one. You hit that one right on the head. Great job with that one.
Hey, man, I told you when you heard me, I don't miss. So that applies to a lot of different things. Tell you what.
Yeah, I mean, when you retweeted it, even let's say, hey, you were right. That I was impressed. Now I know we talked in our last episode, and you said that you were a connoisseur of the beer. So I have a question for you.
All right, go for it. Yeah.
And it has to do with Mac Jones. So if Mac Jones was a beer, what type of beer would Mac Jones be?
Well, you know what? That's pretty easy one. Now, a lot of people don't know this, Steve, but when Mac is back in his previous football days over at the University of Alabama, they used to call him the Joker. I think it's because he smiles a lot. And so I'd have to say that if Mac Jones were a beer, he would be none other than my beer of the week, Samuel Adams Oktoberfest. Because when you drink a Samuel Adams Oktoberfest, it's just like you're putting a whole smiling, lit on fire jack-o'-lantern in your mouth and swallowing it right down your throat. And that's Mac Jones. I mean, it's a seasonal beer. You can get it right now, but it's Mac Jones season, baby.
I mean, I guess that makes total sense. Is that one of your favorite beers of the year?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one for right now. And, I mean, we'll see how Mac Jones does. He might be a good one for right now, too. I'll tell you what.
Perfect. All right, well, let's go ahead and just move on to the regular season now, because it's here. Week one is here. A lot of people super pumped. We've been talking rankings, some starts and sits. Which player are you most excited to watch here in the first week of fantasy football?
Well, I read the draft guide, and I think the boys did a fine job. Next year's will be better when I get to write some in there. But I think that one guy that I'm excited about that everybody's been hating on, is haters gonna hate, taters gonna tate, is what I say. And not a lot of people loving my boy Jamar Chase. And that's because he's been dropping quite a few balls on the field. But if there's anything that I've learned from experience of balls dropping is when you start dropping the balls, that's when you're ready to go.
So you think that he's primed to break out here in week one? His balls have dropped and he's good to go.
Oh, he's oiled up and ready to go. I tell you what.
That's a visual that I wasn't expecting. Okay, how about we flip the script and go the opposite way? Which player are you most worried about here this year?
Well, 100%. We're going to see and now I don't like to say this, I don't want to wish ill on anybody, but we're going to see a big injury, I believe, in week one. We've already seen quite a few here in the off season. I tweeted about that. Maybe put them in some bubble soups next preseason.
I like that.
But I think this year we're going to see a big time running back that gets injured week one and possibly season ending. And I'm pulling it out of the hat here, but I'm real worried about Dalvin Cook. I just think he is poised to go out there and run his little tail off, for about 2 quarters, and then he's done for the season.
So basically, in one of your first analytical breakdowns on this channel, you're predicting a week one season-ending injury to Dalvin Cook, right?
That's what I'm going to say, yeah. So buyer beware is all I say. Dynasty format, wait for him to get hurt and pick him up. That's what I say.
Man, prayers out there to Dalvin Cook. Hopefully we don't have to have a moment of silence with the doc here next week.
Yeah,
okay, so
I don't want it to happen, but it's going to.
You don't miss, and that's what I'm a little bit worried about right there. So we've talked about the players you're excited for and one that you're worried for. Who do you think is the biggest surprise, though? Who do you think out there is going to catch a lot of people off guard?
I think biggest surprise going to be Andy Dalton. I've seen all this stuff with the fans booing Andy Dalton, and what color hair does a leprechaun have? Is all I got to say. I mean, that he's going to find that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And then I hope he just turns to all the fans and looks up in the stands after he scores about 6 touchdowns by himself and just says, boo back at you.
Do you think he's going to give him the suck it message here after this week?
I think he's going to absolutely. He may be wearing a white T-shirt that just says, suck it, Chicago, right underneath his uniform.
That would be bold since he still plays in Chicago. But like you said, he's had a lot of fire here this offseason. He's already come out and said, hey, this is my job now. It'll be Justin Fields time another time. Yeah, I mean, it's like he's on fire. He's like a Dragon Ball Z character. You ever see one of those? Like when it gets like all like flamey? What is that called? He's like Super Saiyan or something?
I have no clue what the hell you're saying.
You tell me you're not a big Dragon Ball Z fan, Tater?
I ain't never know that dragons had balls.
Anyway, maybe you're just a little bit past that time. All right, so one more question, and then we're gonna go ahead and move on because I know you are a very, very busy man.
I got stuff to do right now.
What do you got to do?
Well,
if you weren't doing this with me right now, what would you be doing?
Well, I got bread to bake and whiskey to make, stuff like that.
Good. You make your own whiskey?
I do.
Is it delicious?
It's very good.
Perfect. Maybe I'll have to try. Maybe you can send us some here sometime. All right. Last question, though. Let's go ahead and wrap this up before it turns into a total train wreck. Who scores the most points here in week 1 of fantasy football? If you had to just take a wild guess at one name, who is that name here this week?
I think most points in week 1, 2021 fantasy football. I think that the most points. That's a tough one, but
you need to look through the list here a little bit for a second.
Well, that's what I got it pulled up there.
You can pull up the draft guide here. Take a look at it.
I honestly do think that you're going to see DJ Moore with the most points in fantasy football.
Do you want to put out a prediction of what that point total is? Do you want to just throw a dart at it, see if it sticks?
DJ Moore is going to have 36 points. And I know that seems a little low for most points, but that's up there. Everybody's going to have the spread pretty evenly. There'll be some folks close, but DJ Moore, because I tell you what happens with a man like DJ Moore, he's a ball catcher.
He is.
And just when he thinks he's done enough, they're going to be throwing more balls at him. He can't do anything but catch them.
Yeah, I mean, he's just catching them in both hands, right? Just balls all over the place.
That's right. You ever see that movie where they put the stickums all over their hands?
Yeah.
They were it's going to be like that for DJ Moore. He got sticky hands.
How many receptions do you think he gets?
A bunch of them.
A lot. Like, right? We're talking like 8+?
However many he needs to make 36 points.
Do you know how many that would be or no? Just a lot.
Well, you got to factor in, how far he runs with the ball. If he scores a touchdown, you ought to know better than that.
I'm just testing you, Tater. I'm just dangling the carrot. I want to make sure that people see your analytical background that you have.
Well, you got a dangling carrot, all right.
Okie dokie. Well, hey, this is week 1. We appreciate Tater hopping on here, flipping open his flip phone, taking care of a few questions here in week 1. But we're going to be doing this all throughout the season. You never know when Tater's going to tater, right? It just happens. If you haven't followed this man on Twitter, you need to really do that. I'll have a link down below in the description because he is just tweeting out straight fire at this point. So Tater, we appreciate you coming on here in week 1. We're looking forward to it in week 2. Hopefully you're wrong about Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I'll see you then. And maybe if he's hurt, we can get him on here.
Because he's not playing, right? He could hop on the show.
Yeah, he got nothing else to do.
Hey, well, if that happens, make sure you reach out to him and tell him that you jinxed him.
I'll tweet him.
Yeah, tweet at him. I'm sure he will respond. You are a Twitter legend at this point. So, yeah, we appreciate you. I'm going to go ahead and hop off the call. We'll talk to you next week.
Hey, sun's out, guns out, cherries on top. I'll see you later, bud.
Okay, well, it's always interesting to talk to Tater Miles, but let's do him a favor, right? Let's see if we can get him some more of that Oktoberfest. There's a join button down below just next to the subscribe button. Become a member of the channel. It helps support us as we continue to grow and improve things on a year-by-year basis. Plus, it really gives us that opportunity to give more back to the community. You get some cool badges. You get a members-only live stream on Sunday, plus bonus content every single week. Looking forward to doing that, but now is the time that you're probably here for. We're going to our quick and dirty top 30 running backs here for week 1. And number 1 really shouldn't be a surprise. It's Christian McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers going up against the New York Jets. Not only a good matchup, but a return to health, which a lot of people are looking forward to. When this guy's on the field, he puts up big numbers every single week. Got him back at number 1. Good to have him there. Number 2, Dalvin Cook, because I'm ignoring Tater Miles. With a matchup going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, a great opportunity for him to start off hot, and we know he's heavily involved in this offense. Number 3, Alvin Kamara. I actually bumped him up a couple spots with the departure of Latavius Murray. They're going to rely a lot on Alvin Kamara here to start the season. Got him at number 3 in a matchup here this week against the Green Bay Packers, in which they may have to try to keep pace and throw. That could benefit Alvin Kamara. Number 4 is Aaron Jones, his opponent in that game. And I'm telling you, I love the offense of the Green Bay Packers here this year. The attitude surrounding this entire team with Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers, the discount double suck it tour still happening here. Love some Aaron Jones. Got him at number 4. Number 5, Derrick Henry. The only reason I dropped down Derrick Henry, because if there's any strength to the Arizona defense, it's their defensive front and their athletic linebackers. You got Zaven Collins, Isaiah Simmons there playing linebacker. You got Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt on the defensive line. Could be slow going, but it's Derrick Henry. You can't just stop him. You can only hope to contain him. He's still going to get his. Got him at number 5. Number 6, Jonathan Taylor, Indianapolis Colts, with a matchup here this week going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Not a bad matchup for him whatsoever. But remember, Carson Wentz missing some time here in the preseason. Had a lot of issues there going on in Indianapolis. They've lost T.Y. Hilton. Going to rely a little bit more heavily on the running game. Got Jonathan Taylor at 6. Number 7, Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns, going up against Kansas City. Mentioned numerous times now that they're going to want to try to control the clock. That's what they utilize Nick Chubb for on the ground. Got him at number 7. Number 8, Joe Mixon in that matchup against Minnesota. Not easy, but volume should still be there. A lot of people still hate Joe Mixon, but don't hate volume. There's very few guys that get it in a decent matchup. Still going to be tough going against Minnesota, but he should find plenty of opportunities. Number 9, James Robinson of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I may have him ranked higher than almost anybody else out there, and I really don't understand why more people don't have him higher in a matchup going up against Houston, because Houston blows. Give me some James Robinson. Houston allowed almost 160 yards rushing a game last year. Love it. Got him at number 9. Number 10, Antonio Gibson, Washington football team. A tough matchup going up against the Los Angeles Chargers, but the way they're going to utilize him in the passing game here this year should really give him that safer floor on a week-by-week basis. Got him at number 10. Number 11, Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers, going up against Buffalo. Not easy, but like I mentioned with Big Ben, how much pressure do they put on Najee to kind of carry a little bit more of this offense so they can utilize Big Ben deeper into the season? I expect them trying to do the same thing that Cleveland's going to do with Kansas City. Control the time of possession. Keep the ball away from the Buffalo Bills. Need to find some success early and get that confidence up of Najee Harris. Got him at 11. Number 12, Austin Eckler, Los Angeles Chargers. Difficult matchup going up against Washington, but Washington is known for their defensive front, right? Where does Austin Eckler excel? The passing game. He's not running between the tackles as often, so that should help him keep that safe floor. Number 13, Zeke Elliott, Dallas Cowboys, going up against that tough Tampa Bay defense. Thursday Night Football kicking off the season. Now, we know he's not going to have starting guard Zach Martin. How limited is Lyle Collins on the offensive line? A lot of question marks there. It's going to be a difficult task for Zeke Elliott to have a huge game. Solid floor based on volume, but maybe not that huge one. Got him at 13. 14, Saquon Barkley, New York Giants, going up against the Denver defense. Denver's defense is not bad whatsoever. Plus, we know that Saquon may be somewhat limited and not be on a full workload. That worries me. Got him dropped down to 14. 15 is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Kansas City Chiefs, going up against the Cleveland Browns. Super tough matchup for him. Plus, he's slightly banged up, not 100% heading into the season. That's why I don't have him higher and dropped him down to 15. 16, Miles Sanders, Philadelphia Eagles, going up against the Atlanta Falcons. I really believe that if Miles Sanders was committed to, this guy is a weekly top 10, top 12 back, but Jalen Hurts under center is going to limit his upside by calling his own number at times. Plus, they still want to cycle through like 3 or 4 running backs in this backfield. Got Miles Sanders at 16. 17, Darrell Henderson, Los Angeles Rams, going up against the Chicago Bears. A lot of people worried about Sony Michel, and even though Michel could take some touches, that's okay. We saw 2 backs at times coexist here in LA last season with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson. Don't sleep on the talent of Darrell Henderson. He is someone capable of putting up some solid numbers, and they rested him in the preseason because they knew they were going to use him and need him in the regular season. Got him at 17. 18, Gus Edwards. No J.K. Dobbins, no Justice Hill, probably no Le'Veon Bell this week. Gus Edwards is going to eat in a matchup going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. Honestly, I have him at 18, and he may go higher the closer and closer we get to the weekend. Number 19 is Chris Carson, Seattle Seahawks. Difficult matchup going up against that defensive front of the Indianapolis Colts. A lot of these stud running backs really have tough week 1 matchups. I like Chris Carson. I hope they commit to Chris Carson. I hope Chris Carson can stay healthy, but in a difficult matchup, had to drop him down a few spots because he needs to be involved in the passing game this week in order to get that higher ceiling. Number 20, Raheem. I'm not quite a must start, but I am a start Mostert of the San Francisco 49ers with a matchup going up against Detroit. It's Detroit. Of course, I want to start Raheem Mostert, and he's going to be inside my top 24. Why do I not have him higher? The potential usage of Trey Sermon. How do they utilize him week 1? Do they utilize him at all? Do they just give the keys to the car to Raheem Mostert? I have a feeling Trey Sermon's going to be sprinkled in, and if he steals a touchdown, that could limit the ceiling of Raheem Mostert. That's why I got him at number 20. Number 21, Myles Gaskin, Miami Dolphins, going up against the New England Patriots. All signs pointing to him being the lead guy in this backfield. In an offense that, when he's been given that opportunity in the past, he's done nothing but succeed. Maybe not super high ceilings on a weekly basis, but a solid flex, a solid low-end running back too. Weekly basis got him at 21. Number 22 is Mike Davis, Atlanta Falcons, going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Why do I not have him higher, you ask? I actually like Wayne Gallman. If you've watched this channel for any length of time, I've been talking about Wayne Gallman for what feels like 2 months at this point and telling people at the end of drafts, I'm looking for Wayne Gallman. And that was when he was in San Francisco. I'm still doing the same thing here when he's with Atlanta because I think he has a clear opportunity to carries here than he did in San Francisco. So I'm going to drop down Mike Davis a little bit until we see what that split actually looks like. 23, David Montgomery. I like David Montgomery a lot overall for this year. Do not love that his first matchup of the season is against the Los Angeles Rams. Don't panic, people. If he struggles this week, don't panic, sell him. It's going to get better, but for this week, got him at 23. 24, Damian Harris of the New England Patriots. Now, I really believe that turning to Mac Jones helps the running game. Trading away Sony Michel helps the running game overall because now it looks like it's going to be Damian Harris. However, we thought that in the past we really had this backfield figured out, and Bill Belichick comes out and does something stupid. How involved is James White? How involved, if any, is Ramondre Stevenson in week 1? Does he get goal line carries taken away from Damian Harris? There's just certain questions at certain times that we don't know as of yet. I love Damian Harris to where you got him in the draft. Let's hope Bill can commit to him, and if he did, you got yourself a steal. For right now, though, I got him at 24. 25 is Kareem Hunt, Cleveland Browns. He should be maybe a little bit higher in a full PPR league, but like I said, I'm really expecting the Browns to try to pound the ball on the ground with Nick Chubb. Really, the upside for Kareem Hunt is in the passing game. I know that's not going to be what Cleveland wants to get into. They do not want to get into a back and forth passing matchup with Kansas City. They're going to try to control it. So I limited Hunt here a little bit, got him at 25. 26, Josh Jacobs. Difficult matchup going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Plus, what kind of split do we see with Kenyon Drake? We still do not know for sure. I want to expect that Jacobs will still get 18 touches a week in this offense due to the lack of overall options. But until I see it, I have a hard time trusting it and getting that warm fuzzy on the inside. So for right now, Jacobs at 26. 27, Ronald Jones, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, going up against the Dallas Cowboys Thursday Night Football. Now, I said this in the start-sit video. It will not surprise me if one of these Tampa Bay running backs has a big game. But which one is it going to be? We really don't know, right? I mean, you saw the end of the season. It was more Leonard Fournette. The better running back through the regular season last year at times was Ronald Jones, but Ronald Jones struggled with blitz pickups at times. He drops a few passes. Made Tom Brady pissed a few times. I mean, there's just those things that make us wonder. Now, on the top of the depth chart, it says Ronald Jones, but that doesn't mean anything because they still have Leonard Fournette and Gio Bernard there on that offense that can take away snaps at any given time. But if I'm putting my eggs in one basket, it's going to be Ronald Jones for that explosive ability. 28, James Conner, Arizona Cardinals going up against the Tennessee Titans. Yes, a lot of people want to look at James Conner and be like, that dude sucks. He's always hurt. And he is a lot, but he's not hurt right now. And he's in an offense that still produces top 12 running backs. That's what Kenyon Drake was last year. Even though it wasn't sexy, I'm sorry, that's where he finished. He takes over that role, got James Conner at 28. 29, Melvin Gordon, Denver Broncos. And really, what is the split here between him and Javonte Williams? How healthy is the groin issue of Melvin Gordon? Is he limited at all? Does he try to play through it and he struggles? That's why I don't have him any higher. Going up against the New York Giants, I'm kind of on a wait and see in this backfield, but got Gordon right now at 29. Number 30, I put DeAndre Swift here because a lot of people are going to say, man, you forgot about DeAndre Swift. No, I did not forget about DeAndre Swift, but he magically got healthy here the beginning of the week. He's got these soft tissue injuries that at any given time, he can go out there and maybe 3 plays, maybe 3 series into this ball game, he realizes he can't go. And I don't want to take the risk on having that 0 in my lineup on week 1 because the guy just couldn't make it or tried to push it too hard and re-aggravate something. I try to stick to something where if a guy is injured going into the week, I try to avoid him as much as possible. That's why I got DeAndre Swift all the way down here, number 30. All right, so there you have it, our top 20 quarterbacks, our top 30 running backs, and the first installment of Fourth Beer Down with Tater Miles, which is going to be interesting on a weekly basis. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's show. Do me a favor, hit that like button. It greatly helps us out here on YouTube. Plus, if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button. We got a lot of new subscribers here over the last few days, last few weeks, and we want to make sure we keep you entertained and informed on a daily basis and make sure you have everything you need to dominate fantasy football here in 2021. So hopefully you have a great rest of your day, a great week. Looking forward to week 1. Everybody comment down below. Let us know what you're looking forward to. Let us know what game you're looking forward to. What player are you most looking forward to see? A lot to talk about here in the coming days, and we're looking forward to being able to do that with you. So have a great rest of your day, a great week. We'll talk to you later.